friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandrin.
What up? What up? It is Deja. How y'all doing? Welcome back.
Hello, and welcome. If you've never been here before, we do a cross section of pop culture in real life. And today we have a reality rundown. We're going to catch up with all things that are going on in the world of reality TV. There is plenty. If you've watched these videos before, you know that I leave the timestamps for everything down below in the description box, so you can follow along or click around however you see fit. So let's get started, show. Porsha and Simon.
Right. I'm about to say the new Guobadias.
Nobody is.
Baby. This is a if Risa Tisa had to come out with her story before Porsha went jumping down to jump in the broom, maybe this would have been a cautionary tale for her because girl.
Here's the thing about this situation. I'm not surprised by any of it. Like, so if you've not been paying attention, Porsha and her husband Simon are getting divorced after just a little over a year of marriage. Essentially, he has been found out to be a scammer of all magnitudes, has been
scamming for 40 years and
scamming for literally 40 years since the 80s. So a divorce is pending, and yeah, Porsha's coming back to Housewives. I think that's pretty timely. I feel like she probably knew this was coming and was like, girl, if it feels like the same time that Porsha got on Housewives, when she was like getting ready to, like, there was some trouble in paradise with her and Cordell, and she was like, girl, I need to make sure I get my little money so I have something to fall back on.
Hello, that part. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. And the timing of it all, like, we hear rumors that she's going to be joining the RHOA again. Then we hear that it's confirmed that she's now part of the show. And then it's like, excuse me, a couple of weeks later, Porsha files for divorce. And then a few days after that, it's Simon. Oh no, not that she filed. Simon with the illegality and the fraud carrying on and for 40 years and 40 nights. Then Porsha files for divorce. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
So much. So much. It's a lot going on. I mean, it seems like I don't think that she knew going into the marriage, but I don't think that she looked either.
Hello, and like this is the telltale sign and reasoning as to why you don't jump to get married to a complete stranger, because you really don't know what it is that you're getting yourself into.
100%. It's giving very much didn't know, didn't care, didn't look like he had money.
Verify.
Looked like he had money. He was probably spending fake money on credit cards for her. Everything's going well. She's thinking, little PJ is going to have, a nice little stepdaddy with some coins. And as well as her daddy got some coins. So little PJ is going to be living the life. And Porsha's judgment was clouded. Like, she did not, it don't seem like she turned over all the stones. And honestly, like, not for nothing, this is shady to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. She went down to Fallon's house and Fallon was living well.
And she thought, well, so
she had no reason to think that, like something was awry, and she was wrong.
And also, Fallon has said as much on the show that she already had money because Fallon was doing some sort of philanthropy work and some other things. So it makes me feel like, bottom line, she just didn't do enough verifying.
No. Got to get you some friends that know how to do good searches, honey. But Simon apparently was running his stuff through different phone numbers and different names and everybody else. So,
It makes me wonder, though, like, who, like the house and all that, whose name was on that house? And if he's been such the scammer that he's been, how is it that he's been able to do this for 40 years? Like, what does that say about, the U.S. government?
Well, it sounds like he's been running a racket successfully for the better part of 40 years. So,
And all of this commentary is alleged. We don't know anything.
Oh yeah, alleged. Y'all know I always do that at the front, but yeah, alleged. All things alleged. All right, let's move on. Marlo and Sanya. Well, we're staying on Housewives of Atlanta. So Marlo and Sanya are confirmed to be out of next season.
They could have kept Sanya for at least have her as a friend to the show at the very bare minimum. Because she wasn't, I don't think that she was ready to be a full-on housewife the way that she came in. But it sucks to have had her basically, like, if I was in her shoes, you get to be a full-time housewife for what, 2 seasons, and then when Porsha comes back, you get kicked out the show. Like, that's crazy.
Here's my thing, right? I watched Sanya's show on,
I think it was We or Oxygen, one of the two. I
one of
remember
the
that.
two. I don't even know if that channel is still around anymore. Anyways, I know Oxygen converted to like true crime only, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, they do like Snapped on a loop or whatever true crime shows they're doing on a loop.
I did
Anyways,
not know that.
and I felt like there was another channel too in there. It was like Style Channel or something that used to do some reality TV as well. Anyways, I watched Sanya's reality show, and I think the universe for Sanya is with her family because her family has enough drama in and of itself to like really kind of be its own show. But Sanya, in and of herself, she is not that interesting. Like, even on that show, it was more her relationships that were interesting. It wasn't Sanya herself.
Yeah. Which I don't know what show I was listening to, but they were saying that they would like to see. I want to say it might have been The Friend Zone, and Dustin was saying he would like to see Sandy do a spinoff with her family
Yeah.
because her family was interesting. So
Yeah, like, and all of them living under the same roof. That's not like chaos. Her sister's husband, their 2 kids, mom and dad, Sanya Ross, and now their 2 kids. That sounds like a lot under one roof, or even down the street from each other. That's a lot going on. So, and I think that was sort of the show that we had before, which was like, I don't know if I think they were all in the same house, or maybe her sister lived down the street or something. But like,
I don't
everybody
remember,
was
ain't gonna
right
lie.
there together. I don't remember, but I remember that them being a very close knit family and like all of them being right there together. So that was enough of a universe. But yeah, I don't know that Sandy was ever a good fit for Housewives. So Marlo's also out. She gave her farewell message. That was bound to happen.
We all knew that, like, if I think that Porsha was like, if you want me to come back, Marlo gotta go.
I don't even think it was that. Marlo just wasn't good as a full-time housewife.
I mean, and she wasn't, but
I've said it here before. I stand by it. I think Marlo missed her window to be a good full-time housewife. I don't think Monty was not her era to be a full-time housewife.
but they didn't want her then. They basically wanted her when they ain't had nobody else.
Well, the window was missed because she wasn't out being fabulous and grand once she had those nephews with her, which is fine, but it's just not what we signed up for Marlo. Like, Marlo's whole point was that she kind of came in on a cloud being grand and over the top. I do have something to say about this. So I know people mocked Marlo's business, but lots of people are starting to get into this, like, archival pieces, renting archival pieces. A podcast I listened to, she went to the Beyonce Sacred premiere or like release or whatever. And she was saying, like, she went to a similar sort of place to get her outfit together for this sacred release. I've heard of plenty of people going to these types of places, and it's like, I feel like maybe people just don't trust Marlo, or they don't, but Marlo can dress her ass off. So I don't
I don't see
understand.
why they wouldn't.
I don't understand, like, why people had so much to say about her business. I think it's a brilliant business, and I'd love to do it myself one day.
I
Right.
hope that she is able to remain successful, even though I don't doubt that she will, because I know there was at some point she was styling for Tammy Roman for her different TV shows that
And
Tammy
I
was
mean,
doing.
with everything that's right there in Atlanta, I'm sure she'll keep working. It's fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
I have long griped with the idea that Marlo was doing something that just sounded absolutely absurd. I was just like, y'all sound crazy. Like, y'all don't sound like y'all know what goes on in the fashion industry. God bless you.
That part.
Okay. Let's do Martell first.
So somebody was reporting down to the TikTok streets that Martell basically, the long and the short of this clip, um, he basically took money in 2020 from someone to build an addition onto their home.
Mm,
I want to say the initial deposit or monies was like $40,000. And then he might have gone back and took like another $10,000 or $14,000 from them over the last as late as 22 or 23, but they have no home edition.
mm.
And so they are reporting that he might soon be getting a new mugshot because that is giving builders fraud. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but basically like you take money for something and you don't build the thing.
Yeah.
Problem.
I mean, yeah, it's always gonna be fraud when you take money and say you're gonna do something and you ain't and you don't. So
That part. So it's been a mess. I am curious to see like how this is gonna play out come if they are. I think they might be filming right now for Love and Marriage Huntsville.
okay.
So if that comes up, like how are you gonna spin it? Because here we are, it's 2024. He's been studying for this builder's license for the last 2.5 years and still doesn't seem to have acquired it. So
Chill. Hmm.
good luck to that.
Good luck to him, child. Dr. Heatherly's recap videos will be discontinued down to
Not
YouTube.
exactly.
Well, wait, I said down to YouTube. She's
Oh, I'm
going over to
like,
Patreon.
it's so
So,
stupid.
well, okay, here's the tea that I did watch Carlos King's little video and she popped in. I guess their sort of last video together. Where she pops in to say like what all's been going on and why she's no longer going to be down to YouTube. So
Hmm.
apparently one of the husbands contacted her husband to notify him of what Heavenly was carrying on about on YouTube. And Damon looked at the videos and was like, "Are you crazy?" And it was like, "Absolutely not." So now she has to lock her stuff up behind a paywall so it's not out there for all the world to see. That is Heavenly's story.
Well, I mean, I'm not like not believing it, considering that she said that Damon and Kima have similar beliefs, and Damon came out and said the same thing.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. But I
I was
wonder
like,
which husband it was.
yikes.
I have an idea.
It's
I have a
probably
guess.
Kima.
I don't think it's Kima.
or
I don't think it.
Eugene.
I would say Eugene. I don't feel like any of the other husbands, other than Eugene or a Curtis, but I don't think Curtis would care enough. Other
Mm-mm.
than like a Eugene, would be on YouTube enough to find out what Heavenly is doing on YouTube.
I mean, but the quietest is kept. Eugene and Cecil had approached Carlos to be on their reality recap, basically.
So
And
maybe it was
so
Cecil. Maybe it was either Eugene or Cecil. In my mind, it had to either be one of the two.
I don't feel like
Cecil
I don't
doesn't
know
give
that
me
Cecil
messy
would.
enough or like
No,
enough like he cares enough.
he don't. He just wanted to get up there and bump his gums about all
Yeah.
the goings on. And I think he wanted to bump his gums specifically about that trip. I don't think that because she's been doing this show all this long and they've been tweeting about it. And so
Yeah.
even she said that he has popped into the Twitter streets and her mentions and has, responded as so like, this is what actually happened. This is how I feel about it, blah, 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 or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. But
But
Eugene,
based
on
on
the
the
other
fact
hand, has
that
got a lot to
Toya
say.
was one of the ones that had such a big issue with Heavenly being on YouTube and what she was saying on YouTube, it would make sense that it was Cecil, Eugene, that was the one that was kind of like blew the whistle on all of what she was saying.
Mm-hmm. Which is just like you're a hater. If you
Allegedly speculating, allegedly.
like if that's really what happened, like you a hater. I mean, it was mean
A bit.
spirited at times, but it was a key for those of us who would catch it every now and again.
Yeah. So,
And the other thing too is like the show wasn't her recaps initially when her and Carlos started doing it together, which is what really got all the eyes on her
yeah.
recaps.
And apparently
Um
a lot of eyes on Married to Medicine. So,
yeah, but like they were, to my knowledge, in the beginning they were also talking about Real Housewives of Potomac. They were
Uh,
talking about Love and Marriage DC. And then they would slide into talking about, the Married to Medicine specifically.
yeah, I mean, listen, I've always had a hard time with the idea that she was on YouTube reviewing her own show. And I know
But
like
Candy did
she did, and I didn't like that either. But I feel like Candy is a better kind of like a spectator, but Heavenly is always in the mess. Heavenly is always a
Mm-hmm.
part of the mess. She's not bringing anybody on to hear their side like Candy was doing with Speak on
Right.
It.
Yeah.
She is up here giving her opinion, giving background information. And I feel like when you're watching these shows, like you're watching it at face value and you want to be able to have conversations like this one on face value. You don't want to have Heavenly and all of her opinions and like all the production like background and all that stuff. Like maybe part of the reality TV experience or mystique is that you don't know all of the stuff that's going on in the background. And I feel like Heavenly was kind of defeating the purpose of it. And I feel like Heavenly plus like what happened with Robin last season with Housewives of Potomac, I could
They started
totally
cracking down.
foresee Bravo putting a clause in their contracts of like, you cannot, while you're actively on a show, be giving away additional information or storyline or giving background to storylines. You know, I'm not sure how they would phrase that, but I could totally see them doing that because to me, it undercuts the show.
But does it? Because of you just said that like them doing her doing the recaps with Carlos is what brought more eyes to their show this season.
I mean,
So, and
maybe.
considering that she has been doing this on YouTube for a minute and they hadn't said anything, and now the only reason why she is like, pulling the plug is because her husband does not want her to put herself out there on Front Street anymore.
I mean, I can see that, but in my opinion, as a viewer, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to watch 15 different YouTube channels to find out what's going on the show. I want to watch the show. I don't want to have to watch Heavenly and Carlos. I don't want to have to watch, and like I listen to commentary and stuff, but I feel like that's different than having to go over to Heavenly's page to find out what actually was happening on the show. I want to watch the show and form an opinion. I don't want to have to hear all this noise on the background. That's just me personally. Some people really enjoy it, and I think that's fine. But I think it can be a little to me. It's a little weird and sort of a conflict of interest when people are opining on their own shows in real time.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean,
I
agree,
I
disagree,
I
but
enjoy the background details every now and again because it would be like, okay, this is what was missing. Makes more
yeah,
sense now.
I mean, and that's fair. So this is it for the reality roundup. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought about all that's happening in the reality TV universe. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, friends.
Bye.